Harris in her big speech at the Ellipse didn't just focus on the damage that Donald Trump could do to democracy or to the spirit of our nation, our Constitution. She also jumped into some specific areas of policy that I think are very important to people in this election. And we're going to start with a couple. This is on taxes.
Donald Trump's answer to you is the same as it was the last time. Another $1 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires and big corporations. And this time, he will pay for it with a 20% national sales tax on everything you buy that is imported. Think about it. Clothes, food, toys, cell phones. A Trump sales tax that would cost the average family nearly $4,000 more a year. I will enact the first ever federal ban on price gouging on groceries. Cap the price of insulin and limit out-of-pocket prescription costs for all Americans. I will fight to make sure that hardworking Americans can actually afford a place to live.
So, look, we know that people care a lot about the economy. It's one of the things that the election can and probably will hinge on. Donald Trump has occasionally remembered that he's supposed to talk about that. She's making it sort of core to her closing appeal. I think it is great to point out the actual effect that economists say his economic proposals will have. And I will also mention again, I don't want to overly focus on this. She looks as presidential as you can. Like that looks like out of a movie. Like him at his rally or whatever, it looks so cheap by comparison, but that looks like it's literally from a Hollywood movie. In any event, before we discuss, I want to talk about one more policy though. Obviously one that the Democrats would prefer you have front of mind when you go into that voting booth, and that would be abortion.
I will fight to restore what Donald Trump and his hand-selected Supreme Court justices took away from the women of America. That today, 1 in 3 women in America, think about it, 1 in 3 women in America lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban. Many with no exceptions even for rape and incest. The idea that a woman who survives a crime of a violation to her body should not have the authority to make a decision about what happens to her body next, that is immoral. That is immoral, and Trump's not done. He would ban abortion nationwide, restrict access to birth control and put IVF treatments at risk, and force states to monitor women's pregnancies.
So now look, of course, the Republicans are going to respond to that saying he hasn't said that he would do some of that. And perhaps he individually wouldn't necessarily push to do some of those things. Will he stand as the guardian, the barrier between the far more radical Republicans in his party and them successfully passing this legislation? I doubt it. You can feel free to, make that gamble, make that bet if you would like. You are betting with your rights, so I wouldn't do that. But anyway, it's a powerful message regardless. Brett, what do you make of some of her issue-based appeals?
Well, yeah. So often I complain about presidential candidates just kind of saying it's gonna be better. But Kamala Harris actually has like a lot of economic policies you can go find. And she just listed some of them. And she didn't even list like for small businesses, which I think is what has typically been missing from the Democratic Party platform, is support for small businesses, people who have like a landscaping business. She's gonna, offer economic incentives so you can run your own business, which is kind of something that America is going more toward now. Donald Trump has only promised to raise your prices. That's all he's done. Now, I've also criticized Democrats in the past for being too free tradey, but Donald Trump is just saying let's tariff China, which in the short term definitely raises prices a ton on people. And he's not competent. Everyone knows he's not competent and he doesn't give a crap. So he's either lying or he's gonna hamstring everyone because there's not enough time to have the economy geared more toward getting more employment for people. Like a protectionist trade policy is supposed to protect American jobs, but there's no, Donald Trump doesn't have it. He doesn't know how to do that kind of thing. And he doesn't care because all he's ever done is, if you're a low income worker, he's never once given a crap about your paycheck. He's just trying to get you mad at like someone who wants to be on your daughter's sports team.
Yeah,
that's it. Because I've watched a ton of football and baseball, and every commercial is like, aren't trans people evil? And if you don't hate them, isn't that evil? It's like I don't even care enough about those issues, and I don't know why people would care. And that's all the distraction. So that's the frustrating part to me. But what it really comes down to for me, 100%, is like people are less free because of Donald Trump than they were before Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Under Donald Trump, and he plans to make you less free in the future because he is trying to make it impossible for you to have health care if you have a pre-existing condition. Like that's insane. Like there was a time in America where
we're going to talk about that.
If you were a certain kind of sick, you would just have to die or go bankrupt. Now you can actually get coverage, but also he took away a woman's right to choose, and women are dying because of it. Live women of like human living age.
Yeah,
are dying
it wasn't even
because
that,
of it.
It wasn't even that long ago, honestly. So yeah, a great point. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?